Hey everybody, you are listening to the Vocal Advancement Podcast, IVACON edition. I'm Tom, joined by Heather.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to the post-conference party.
Yes. It is Saturday, is it Saturday? I don't even know what day of the week it is. The day after conference finished. We have just finished a day-long board meeting with all the board members of our company.
Very productive day.
It has been a very productive day. We have had some really good kind of discussions about how we felt the conference went, things that we thought went well, things that we thought we could improve for next time.
Yeah.
We've been making plans for ways to update and improve our services.
And how we structure the education, and because I think we've said this quite a few times over the course of the week, like we're an organization that wants to continually adapt and grow and learn and change how we do things. And so a day like today is a big part of that, when the experience of the conference is fresh in our brains.
It's a great time to talk about it, yeah. And because we've been getting lots of feedback along the way, you know, teachers are constantly coming up to us going, do you know what, you should do this, and I'd love to see more of this. And I think we mentioned in one of the other podcasts, we have like what we call the wall of love, an opportunity for people to write down comments and stick it on the wall and tell us things they like, things they weren't sure on, any kind of criticisms, feedback. So we went through some of that as well and talked through some of the things that were on there.
Yeah, and it was really helpful feedback, because a lot of the time we're so close to stuff that sometimes we might not necessarily think of the things that the teachers say. Yeah, it's true. And you read something, you're like, oh yeah, of course, that's so obvious. Yeah, but we're just too close.
We just haven't thought about it before, because that's what we've always done. But that doesn't mean that's what we should always do.
Exactly, yes. And that's why, like in the closing yesterday when we were talking to the teachers, like, you know, running through like how things work for them for their education requirements and stuff, and we would talk about feedback surveys, and we always stress it's like they're so important. We read every single one, because we can only get better with your feedback. Yeah. You know, we have our ideas what we think will make it better, but it's at the end of the day, if the teachers are not interested, then there's no point.
No, I mean the customer needs to tell us what they want. And then we can try and help to deliver it. Are you spilling tea on yourself, Tom?
I do hope not. I just realised. Last thing we want is a big wet patch.
So, yeah, we've had a very productive day. And you know what's been really nice is having everybody in the room together. I know I keep saying this, that, you know, that's what's been nice about this conference in general, is having everyone together. But, you know, we have board meetings quite regularly, but they're always online. And it tends to be, you know, just our voices, you know, coming down a phone line or Skype or whatever. Being able to just sit in the same room as one another and, you know, just see each other's faces, read each other's body language, talk over one another.
Well, it's the thing, isn't it? Because you miss that on Zoom, like the cue that somebody's finishing talking or about to talk, and so you often find we like clash, and then you forget what you were saying, and
absolutely,
then, you go first. No, you go first.
Yeah. Or because we're doing it at home, and you know, like I'll be like cooking dinner while I'm trying to listen into the board meeting, so you're somewhat distracted. Yes. It's nice to actually just go, do you know what, we're going to sit down and we're going to dedicate a whole day to talking through business stuff.
Yeah. And it's important as a business to have that review process in place, you know, and to just, you know, because we even like, we set dates for the next 3 years of conferences.
We have already planned for the next 3 years of conferences now.
Because we have to, like, you know, our teachers want information as soon as possible so they can plan around their lives and their businesses, you know, and their schedules. So for us as a business, the more organised we can be, the more chance people will come.
Exactly.
Yay.
So I'm excited. I say we set plans. We've got plans. We don't have exact dates for all of the things. We've got to tweak a couple of things, but we're nearly there. So, you know, we just have to check in with venues first to make sure that the dates that we want to do are the dates that they can do. And then we can let the world know where they can go to attend a conference next time.
Yeah. And we had a really good discussion as well about coming back and doing more in-person events around the world. We were talking about Mexico, China, Korea, perhaps, you know, like going back to places that we used to go quite often that we've not been for a long time. So, yeah, I think there's lots of great stuff coming for us that we're working on. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes.
And the conference has just been fabulous. Like, honestly, going through the comments that people have said, there were very few negative comments on that wall. I'm sure when we send out feedback surveys, people might come up with some other suggestions of things that can be improved. But for the most part so far, most of the feedback has been positive, which is nice.
Yeah.
Nice to know we're doing something right.
Yes.
But also just affirming that, actually, I think we got some things right this time.
Yeah.
And, we've done a fair few conferences in our
One
time.
or two.
And every time we learn and every time we try and improve, I feel like this has been the best one yet.
Yeah, and I think like the surveys, like you say, there will be some criticism that comes back, but I think it's important for people to remember that that's welcome. As long as it's constructive, if it's just rude or mean, they're not interested in that.
Tom's hair looked gross, that sort of thing,
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Only I'm allowed to say that.
Yes. But if somebody has something constructive to say that's going to help us to make the experience better, like I want to hear it.
Exactly. No, totally. And suggestions, like we haven't thought of everything. There's lots of things that other people can suggest. So.
And sometimes people put in the most amazing ideas for guest speakers, for people that we've not crossed paths with.
Absolutely.
And they come along and they present, and you're like, wow, where was he? Or, where have they been hiding?
Yeah. In fact, we're always interested to know about people. We have had emails before off the back of our podcast, actually.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Suggesting speakers that we have added to our list to investigate. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's lovely to hear from people because there are because we live in the age of social media, so there are some people in our world of voice that are more, what's the word, like visible?
Yes.
Because they have bigger social media or presences, whereas others who might be doing amazing work, but they're not maybe social media savvy or they're not interested in social media.
Yep.
And so unless you have that personal connection to them...
You wouldn't know that they existed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why this is so important, that somebody comes and says, hey, have you spoken to so-and-so? They do a class on this. And we're like, oh, that's really interesting.
Great.
We were talking about that. You know?
Absolutely.
So I love reading the feedbacks and then like summarising them all and taking all the best bits and then taking all the bits that we need to work in,
And do you know what? All of our teachers who deliver classes... for the most part, as far as I'm aware, we like feedback too. It's good for us to know, actually, this was really confusing and it wasn't really kind of structured in a way that helped me, or, I really liked this part of the class. I wish you'd spent longer on that particular aspect. Those sorts of things are really useful too, to help us make sure that we design our classes in the best possible way.
Yeah, absolutely, because, it could be a great topic, but if it's poorly structured, then it's not necessarily conducive to a good learning experience, is it?
Exactly.
So if somebody's like, I love the topic, but I just couldn't get behind how you delivered it, then that's for us to go away and say, right, how can we do that better?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's really important to us, Even for them to come in and say, like, I didn't like the cakes on Monday. That kind of stuff is important too.
I like the brownies, the vegan brownies.
Did you get Victoria Sponge?
Right, I'm going to let you into a little secret right now, everybody. So we are currently in the conference room having our board meeting, and because our conference is over, we've only got one room today. And so the other rooms that we were using are being used by some osteopaths doing a conference. But they've got chocolate brownies. And they were on the table outside in the corridor, and I may have accidentally taken one of them. And
it just fell into your mouth.
I may go back later as well, see if there's any left over after they've actually had theirs.
I want one of the cupcakes. Those lemon cupcakes were really good.
Were they? I never had one of the cupcakes.
Sicilian lemon cupcakes.
All right, we're going to check to see whether the osteopaths have had their afternoon break after this.
What we really mean is we're going to lock the door so they can't get out for their break.
We're going to eat all the afternoon cakes.
Yeah, and then you can roll me home.
I can hear them. I can hear them. They're out there now. They're out there now. Shh, I won't talk about it anymore. Let's talk about something else. Change the subject.
So then, when we did our episode yesterday, we were podcasting just after lunch, so there were still a few things left to go in the day, wasn't there?
Right, yes. There was a class. Well, I went off to do another study group with some of our teacher educators, and that was fabulous. We always have really insightful conversations, really deep conversations, looking looking through academic papers and understanding, what was coming from it. And the paper that we were looking at yesterday actually was quite a nice affirming paper that just kind of reassured us that some of the things that we've been doing are absolutely spot on and should be. and there's some thorough research to back up what we've been saying for a long time.
That's always
nice.
Which
is always nice to know. Which, in contrast to the paper we were looking at earlier in the week, although that wasn't saying what we were doing was wrong, it was identifying that some of the terminology we've used in the past might not be quite as accurate as we thought because the research has moved on. So that's kind of made us go, okay, we need to just adjust that one tiny little bit terminology ever so slightly so then we're more accurate.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was nice to go through that. And I think although everyone felt really challenged by it, because a lot of our teachers don't really interact with that kind of academic world much because they work in private studios. And a lot of them were quite intimidated by the idea of going through this type of material. They all came away going, that was really good for us. We really enjoyed it. And even if there were bits of the paper they didn't understand, by the time they'd listened to the conversation and we'd gone through a few bits of it, they left feeling like, yeah, actually, I did understand it. I got the gist of that. That was great.
Yeah, and we all encourage the teachers in our program to step out your comfort zone and do something that will help you grow.
Yeah.
So this, for a lot of them, was that
Absolutely.
experience as an educator to step outside and say, hey, this is something new that's, going to help your teaching, perhaps.
Yeah, or just make you think about things in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Is really the reality of it. Like, I don't think looking at a graph on an academic paper is necessarily going to revolutionize your teaching, but I think it might, because our teacher educators are educating teachers.
Yes.
I think it's it's vital that we stay abreast of what the research is saying so that we can communicate that to those teachers who want to understand the nitty-gritty of what's going on.
Yeah, being able to field questions. You don't need to be an expert, but at least having just a basic awareness of it.
Right.
That you can say, oh yes, I've read a paper on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it gives you a little bit more credibility.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were really fun. I wasn't able to go to that because we were preparing for the closing.
I know.
Which was lots of fun. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
That's it. Let's talk about it. But while I was doing that, there were other classes going on, more of our kind of core pedagogy sort of classes, more practical kind of watch teachers teach sort of classes going on, which our teachers will love. They lap that up. They just want to do as much of that as they possibly can.
They love it, yeah.
And then we had our closing ceremony.
We did. Which sounds so official. It's like it's the Olympics.
Like closing cereremony. There's a ceremony about it. We got everyone back together.
We could have the IVACON torch that we like.
The torch! We're going to run through the streets with the torch to pass it on.
Yeah, the closing.
Yeah, so the closing. Tell us about the closing, Tom.
Well, we had this thing this year, where we wanted to just sing as much as we could. Because we're singers first, singing teachers second, So we said, let's just have like a mini concert for the closing. Let's not sit and do Q&A. We can do that anytime, but to be in a room together and sing.
Yeah.
So we, put the feelers out, invited teachers to get up and perform. And, somewhere there was an unofficial memo that it was ballad day, So all these amazingly talented teachers got up one after the other and performed these beautiful songs. And not only that, they all gave these beautiful speeches about what it meant to them to be here and what it meant to be a teacher. So everybody in the room just sang sobbing.
I know, there was a lot of sobbing
It
going
was. I watched one teacher who was sitting watching somebody speak and she was just like, oh. I'm like, I hope those, it was very special.
Yeah, our teacher... Justin from China in particular, I mean, he got me going. He sung, what's it called
That's
now?
What Friends Are
That's
For.
What Friends Are For. And I turned to somebody at the end, I was like, I hate that friggin' song. I really hate that song. But now he's made me love it because he delivered it with such authentic kind of meaning. Like he meant every word and he was saying it to everyone he'd met this week. And it was just beautiful.
The sentiment behind it was lovely.
It was.
And other teachers got up and sang, other songs. One teacher got up and sang a song that she had co-wrote with somebody.
Oh, that was
absolutely
beautiful,
stunning.
wasn't it?
Yeah, so we're all sitting sobbing away, and as I said, everybody was giving an emotional, heartfelt speech before or after the song.
I know.
We had another Chinese teacher, Jasper, who shared something from his culture that was just beautiful, and all the Chinese teachers were crying, and it was... It was,
It was a lovely way to round off the week and just, because a lot of friendships do get formed. It's quite an intensive week. You spend a whole week with these people all day long and probably all evening long as well. Some of them are sharing a dorm room and things. You're really getting to know people, and it really is a kind of a meeting of kindred spirits. These people are all creatives. They're all, people who have a passion for this. Absolutely. And it's really nice to be in a room full of people that get you when you start geeking out on talking about the voice. In normal society, I can't, stand in the playground at school and talk to the other mums about, oh, did you hear this voice? So it's really nice to be in a room full of people you can have those conversations with and not feel like a complete geek.
Absolutely. But I think the highlight for the closing kind of concert bit was when Heather, joined by some of our teachers, gave us a performance from The Sound of Music, didn't you?
It was brilliant.
I had caught a little snippet that something was happening while I was writing my closing speech. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And I'm going to see if our video editor, Stefan, I filmed it. I filmed it, so I'm going to see if he'll edit it in. So if we can put it in, it'll appear now. And it was just so wonderful.
Do you know, I have... Right from the day one when we came in and I saw that balcony, and I was already imagining every single musical theatre number that you could perform using that balcony and those stairs. And there were a few of us musical theatre fans that were like, we should reenact The Sound of Music.
I know.
And it was brilliant because Chelsea's husband was around all week, accompanying people, being amazing. And so he was accompanying us on the piano the whole way through. And
a real piano as well.
A real piano.
Real grand piano.
And Brooke knew all of the choreography. And so we put it together. I mean, we really didn't have much time to rehearse. I mean, it was really flung together in 5 minutes, but it was perfect. It was exactly what...
But that didn't matter because it was the sentiment behind it. It was the perfect way to finish.
It was nice.
It was, I got quite emotional during that.
Yeah.
And then I sent it to my mum, and she was like, she was like in floods of tears. Because my mum has been like, when I was speaking to her last week, she's like, send me pictures. Like, I'd love to know what you're doing.
What's going on?
So like every day I've been sending like a little rundown of pictures and videos, and she's been loving following the conference.
Oh, bless her.
And then, she was sitting in sobs of tears watching that last night. And I was like, this is what we do all week.
We don't take it too seriously. It's nice.
Yeah, it was a very fitting end. I love that you guys came up with that, and it was a beautiful moment, and everybody felt it, you know. And then we moved on and we had our prize draw. So every time at conference, we give away prizes because it's just fun. You give people cups and books and clothing and stuff like that. And we have the grand prizes, which is tickets to come to next year's conference.
Yeah.
So we gave 3 of those away to teachers who were delighted to win them.
Absolutely.
And then I got up and did my bit to finish. I had written some remarks, and then I was like, this feels very redundant because I feel like you've all said it so eloquently and beautifully for me. So I tried to say some nice things, and then at the last minute I invited one of our ambassadors, Renee, up to say a few words, and I was like, it doesn't need to be long, it doesn't, just share maybe an experience of the week.
From the heart.
Yeah. So she got up, gave this speech that she came up with on the spot.
She came up with it on the spot. It sounded like the sort of thing that you'd spend 3 months planning for your TED Talk. I mean, she is so eloquent.
I know.
Honestly.
And like she had a whole concept of the speech, that how this topic impact related to presence and how presence related to impact, and wrapped it up in a big bundle, and then he handed me the microphone. I'm like, gee, thanks, Renee.
Wow.
How do I follow that?
It was perfect. It really set the right tone for the end of the conference.
And it was just, it's hard not to get emotional doing that, isn't it?
No, I know. Because it is, not to mention that it's a long week, so everyone's tired and emotional anyway.
Yeah.
Like when kids haven't had a good night's sleep and they just cry all the next day.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like us right now.
But tears of joy most definitely.
And relief that, it went so well and everyone was so happy, and yeah, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Because I got back to, so we had the whole team went out for dinner last night to just, let rip, de-stress a bit and celebrate the success. And also, it's important to bond as a team, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get to know each other better.
And to thank those people who were, contributing.
Absolutely.
And, it was nice. It was a nice place we went to, actually.
Oh, it was lovely. Food was amazing.
I was going to say, your partner picked it out, didn't it? And
I did, yes.
Beautiful. It was really, really kind of trendy place, and the food was yummy.
The food was amazing. You had you had the steak.
I had the steak.
Yeah.
I was cheeky. I had the steak supplementary price. I had the steak, yummy, and the sticky toffee pudding. This was huge. I've never seen such a big sticky toffee pudding in my entire life.
I had that too. It was lovely. I love sticky toffee pudding, and I couldn't actually finish it. It was so big.
No, I couldn't finish mine. It was too big.
My belly. I'm like, just one more bite.
What did you have for your main?
I had it was like a coconut chicken curry with sweet potatoes.
Oh,
it was so
good?
nice. And it had just the right amount of spice from the chili oil.
Excellent.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was really
Food was
nice
excellent.
food.
But there was quite a lot of wine involved. And I was at the grown-up table, and Heather was at the children's table. And nobody else in the restaurant could hear anything for all of them laughing. And you were laughing at the IPA table.
I have to explain what we were laughing about, and it's not my fault. I was not the instigator of this. This was all Shah's fault. So Shah had downloaded this IPA. Now, okay, we're talking to vocal geeks on this podcast, hopefully, so you're aware what the IPA is. But in case you're not, it's the International Phonetic Alphabet. So often when we're teaching voice, we break down the vowel sounds, and there are specific symbols to identify particular vowel sounds versus just the vowel names that you would use when you're writing.
Yeah, standardized.
Standardized vowel sounds. But this chart that she had demonstrations of each of these sounds. And the voice they had that recorded all of these sounds sounded very much like they were having some kind of sickness attack. There was lots of
digestive issues.
Like, you have to go and look this up now and find the IPA with the recording so you can listen to. And at the dinner table, we were absolutely cracking up over this.
It was like, we've been laughing about it all week, but a lot of people got introduced to it last night, and it was just the funniest thing in the world.
And do you know what? This is what I mean about being in the same room with people. I could not laugh about that with people back home. They would not understand what on earth. They're like, what is she looking at? But in a room full of voice geeks, it was hilarious.
It was very funny. And then we in the taxi back, because we had to wait a bit for a taxi, and so you were reading a message that had been sent, and I was just sitting back and going, so we were cracking up on the way home.
Honestly, it's so childish, but so brilliant.
Okay. It's vocal related.
It was obviously, yes, because some of our ambassador teachers were like, God, I wonder what goes on at your board meetings if this is what goes on at the team dinner.
Not quite as fun as that.
No.
Sadly. But it was lovely.
It was nice. It was nice to go out with everybody and just,
Yeah, and then I went back when we finally, we then went to the bar to try and have a final drink with people, because a lot of people were leaving.
She wasn't going to let us into the bar.
Oh, she tried to throw us out, and we were like, no.
She was like, we're closed.
No.
We're like, well, we're just coming in to see people.
Yeah, we weren't having any of it.
No, we just walked past her.
So, but sadly the bar was shut, because a lot of people left today, so we wanted to say goodbye to people.
Yeah.
So, we all got thrown out. And then, we were just chatting and stuff, and then slowly everybody kind of walked, Sharon was like, well, I have a flight at 6 a.m. and it's midnight.
Yeah, I know. Like,
so,
oops.
I go back to my hotel room, and it's funny because I sat in my bed and I just felt all the stress go blah.
Just drain
away.
You.
And I was like, wow, we did it.
Yeah.
Done.
Good job.
And it's funny because you don't realize how much you walk around on edge all week, because we want it to be a success.
I mean, don't get me wrong, my voice is a little bit knackered because I've not slept very well, but it's also the stress of kind of, just being on edge the whole time, trying to make sure everything's running right.
And like, you know, Laura and Shar, who are on our team, like they laugh at me because I'm like the little details about stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but it's got to be perfect for them.
It makes the difference.
You know, it makes a difference. So I totally relax. And last night's the first night I've slept through the night without waking in like a week. So I was like, woke up this morning, I was like,
and relax. Yeah, all happy again.
But it was, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it sounds like we're complaining, but it was worth every minute of the stress for this week we've had.
It's worth putting the time and the effort in. People appreciate it, so you feel appreciated. It's good.
And going back, because we talked about this on Tuesday and day 2, like going back to the Monday night when we had the opening night dinner, you know, and the speeches and everything like that. And then people put music on and started dancing. And like, we were just standing on the steps watching folk dancing. And it was just such a proud moment to think that, hey, this is something that we've pulled together, that we brought together.
Yeah.
And put into the world. And then look at all these amazing people and how they're just dancing, having a laugh, getting to know each other.
Just so happy and
It's very, very fulfilling to think about it.
Absolutely.
So that's my gratitude for the week. I'm very grateful for the people that we have around us.
I totally agree. And I'm grateful for you, Tom.
Oh.
This is my ode to Tom for having that attention to detail, for having so much forethought. You know, you're thinking about things that I just wouldn't have even thought about. And you're like, oh, well, we've got this organised, we've got this. Like, honestly, those details do make a difference. So, I think they are important, and I appreciate you for having that forethought to think about all those little things. You know, little things like, oh, I've got gifts for all of our, you know, teacher trainers and things like that, and you know, thank you cards, and that's going to mean something to people. People are going to go away. They're going to be really appreciative of it.
That's what the hope is, because like I think we're so lucky to have an amazing, like this is turning into a cheese fest.
It is, isn't it? I know.
We're so lucky to have such an amazing team around us, but we want them to feel that we value and appreciate them.
Yes.
So that they feel that they have a place here. And so to me, it was like, you know, it's not like a Tiffany's diamond ring or anything like that. It's just a small token to say, hey, we're thinking about you.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we appreciate you and we love you for everything that you do and bring to IVA.
Talking about thinking of people, can I just thank all of the Australian teachers?
Oh.
Because they thought about me. Throughout the week, I have had 3 packs of Tim Tams gifted to me.
Tim Tams.
Because obviously I go on about biscuits too much. I'm like, I love Tim Tams. And you can only get them in Australia. I want Tim Tams. And so I had a pack of dark chocolate Tim Tams from Sue Kingham. And then Lara said, these are from me and Darren. And I got some double-coated Tim Tams and some caramel Tim Tams. And now I've never tried the caramel Tim Tams before. Have you tried a caramel? Have you?
I got them. Yeah, Darren gave them to me a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Actually, that's not true. So, Darren sent me a care package from Australia.
Did he?
Yeah, with some throat gargle that you can't get in the UK. It was during COVID. But to hide it, he packed the box with Tim Tams and other Australian memorabilia, and it was the salted caramel ones. Needless to say, we opened them as soon as the post came and they did not last.
Well, I thought that actually today what we should do is to
have you got them?
My Tim Tams, because I want to try. These are chewy caramel Tim Tams. Look, you can hear them. A little bit of ASMR for you here. So we're going to open these Tim Tams. And I'm gonna give them a look. Even the packaging says there is no substitute. Can you see that? There is no substitute for Tim Tams, and it's true. My sister lived in Australia. I'm putting this under. No, it's fine, right? I'm a mum. I can multitask. I've got my microphone under my armpit. Right, while I open the biscuits. Would you like a Tim Tam?
I would love one.
Have a Tim Tam Tom. All the alliteration there. Tim Tam Tom. Have a Tim Tam Tom. Is it good?
If you don't like ASMR, then
too bad.
Wow.
To me. Oh, that's really good.
I don't remember them being as nice as that.
That is really good. On my word. Would you love a biscuit? My sister lived in Australia for a good, 15 years or something. And yeah, my highlight of going to visit her was the Tim Tams. Sorry, Emily. I was only in it for the Tim Tams. Those are delicious. So yeah, thank you to all of the Aussies, oi, 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 for my gifts, because I love you for it. And I'm going to carry on eating my Tim Tam. You can talk to them about something now, Tom, because I'm going to have a mouthful of Tim Tam now, so I won't be able to speak anymore.
I was too greedy, I couldn't wait, so I just ate mine. So, I think it's fair to say, if you haven't gathered already by the tone of the podcast, that we've had an amazing week.
We have.
Here. And we love the venue, we love the location. Hoping to come back, perhaps.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because it's like a university campus. We have basically like the run of the campus. So it's just perfect, you know?
And Edinburgh is such a beautiful city. It really is like my favourite city in the world, Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to come. But yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that it's over, you know? It's been months in the planning, and then it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now we're like sitting thinking like, wow, it's time to load up the cars, get ready to go home tomorrow.
I know. Back to reality.
This time last week, I'm like loading up the car to come.
I know.
So I can't believe how quickly it goes.
I know. It's been great though.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed doing our podcasts every day. Doing a little rundown. It just helps us decompress as well and actually kind of consolidate what has happened in that day.
Yeah, it's like that thing you said you did in your class with Jay from Thailand, where you got everybody to summarize the class at the end so that everybody could consolidate their learning.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like this for us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're consolidating. What have we done?
But the nice thing is, we'll get to watch all the recordings of everything.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks' time.
That's it.
So we can actually start our learning.
I was going to say, we can watch all of the classes that we didn't get to see because we were too busy running around all over the place.
Yeah. And there were so many things I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah. So, actually, question for you, Tom. So, do we want to talk a little bit about the membership program that we are introducing?
Okay. Yeah.
Because a lot of the recordings that we have taken, not specifically the conference, are we going to use some of the conference recordings that might be
available to buy?
Are going to be available as part of a membership for teachers.
That's right.
And we do lots of monthly webinars where we bring guests in to talk a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we thought, we've got all this fantastic information. How can we make this more accessible for people to come and get what they want from us, to get more information, just to kind of pop in and get the learning that they want? Obviously, we've got our full 3-year course, which is absolutely fantastic. But there are some people for whom, you know, what they really want is just to dip in and out, to find just a little bit of what they want.
Or a bit of community to connect with.
A community to connect with. So some of our classes from conference may well appear in the membership.
Yeah. But there's already a massive back catalogue of webinars with some amazing people from around the world of voice. I mean, there must easily be like 60 plus hours.
Right.
Back catalogue already.
That's incredible.
And then there's all the stuff from our summit that we did in January 2024.
Yes.
All that's in there as well, you know, so there's another like 30 hours of content.
So because this hasn't been launched yet, this is like insider information.
I know, don't tell anybody. Well, actually tell everybody.
Well, so how's the best way for people, if this is something that might interest them, how's the best way for people to keep updated as to when this is available?
Yes, it's going to be available from August 2024. Which is not very long away.
No. So the
best thing to do is to go and join our mailing list, and then you'll get notified. And what happens is if you go on the mailing list...
How do you get on the mailing list?
So we'll put a link in the show notes,
okay.
Or go to vocaladvancement.com and look in the bottom for the subscribe link.
Okay.
And then what happens is we'll put you onto a special mailing list where you'll get priority access to sign up with a discount.
Ooh, we love a discount.
And maybe some free bonuses thrown in.
Ooh. We like a bonus.
I know. But that's going to be a fantastic place that's going to be continually growing because, as you say, we're doing more webinars. We do a webinar every month. We have plans to do like Ask Us Anythings. We have plans to invite in researchers to, give presentations on the research.
Yeah.
We have plans to demonstrate like IVA concepts in action, so like lesson observations or other classes that we do. And then there'll be the community aspect where you can connect with other people and meet other voice teachers from around the world, share knowledge. And what we hope is that it'll become a really useful resource to people.
Absolutely. And a great primer if you do want to attend one of our conferences in the future. Having been part of that membership will really kind of...
discount for you.
Oh, well then.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I was just thinking it's a good kind of prep. You're kind of involved already. You're going to get to know people prior to coming to the conference. It's going to make it easier for you to access that. Yeah, I think it's just something we've been wanting to do for a long time.
Yes.
Just to kind of cater to the people who've said, we get feedback. Like we said earlier, we listen to the feedback. And we've had feedback that, I really just want to dip in, and maybe I've done a whole lot of training elsewhere prior, and I just want ways to continually develop myself, continual professional development, to continue to update my knowledge and my learning, and, just dip in and out rather than do a full-on educational experience. It's a different group of people. For some people, what they really want and need is something that's really full-on, really intense.
Yep.
And for some people, what they want is just something where they can dip in and get a little bit of something.
Yeah.
And so this is catering for those people specifically, and potentially people who have been through our 3-year course, but are not ready to just stop learning and want to continue their learning. This is for them.
Yeah. And the thing I like about it is that, there are a lot of people out there in the world that are doing amazing things in the world of voice, and not everybody might be able to access these people.
Right.
So this is a way for us to almost bring them to the masses, so that you can take advantage of having that access through it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great resource for that kind of stuff as well, because there are a lot of great people out there. We were talking about this in our board meeting. There's so many amazing people out there in the voice world.
Absolutely. And some really good perspectives on things, different ideas, different takes, So, yeah, this is going to be a one-stop shop for all your vocal educational needs.
Yeah, yeah. And it's called Leaders in Singing Training, which Heather hates. But it's because we call it the list. It's catchy. Are you on the list?
It's catchy. Are you on the list?
You can't argue with catchiness. Everybody likes a good slogan.
Yes, you like a good slogan.
We do.
I'll come round to it eventually.
You don't have a choice. It's
I
happening
don't have
anyway.
a choice. It's just decided without me anyway.
Yeah. I've put my boss foot down and said, this is the
So
way.
I'm doing it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. But whatever, it doesn't matter what you call it.
It's just a name. I don't care. It's just a name.
The concept's what's important.
Exactly. That's it. The actual concept, I love.
Yeah. I'm excited. Because like you said as well, IVA teachers can be a part of this too.
Yes.
As a way for them to continue to grow once they finish the 3-year program.
Yeah.
And so then it's a beautiful way for them to meet other people out there, and for us all to get to know each other better. And
absolutely.
Because I said it, I think it was yesterday in the closing, we all love to sing.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate the voice. Let's celebrate singing and spread that passion and joy into the world. And so it's another way for us to connect and do that.
Absolutely.
Because, we all love to sing.
We do. And we love to learn. Mm-hmm. So if you love to learn, get on the list.
See? You just made my point for me. Catchy.
Yeah. I'll come round to it.
Yeah. Do you know who came up with the name?
Who?
The other Tom that works for us.
The
we have 2
guy.
Toms, me and the other Tom.
The other Tom.
As we refer to him. And he came up with that. And at the time I was like, And then he's like, but imagine a marketing slogan, are you on the list?
Are you on the list?
I was like, sold. Sold. Short and sweet and memorable.
Well, there you go. So you know what to do. Get on the mailing list, and then you can get on the list when the list is available to be gotten on, apparently.
Even better.
And if you want more information, reach out to us because, we're here to help.
Yeah, and if you've got suggestions for people you'd love to see in the list,
yes,
or on the podcast,
yes,
then drop us an email.
We are going to start filming some more episodes ready
we said
to
we'd
launch.
talk about this, didn't we?
We've got one episode already filmed.
Oh yes, that's a great one. With a good friend of mine.
With a good friend.
And she worked very much in the industry, and so she had some really nice insights.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So we will be interviewing some more guests, getting their perspectives, talking about what they've been doing. and just continuing to spread the knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you've not already done so, make sure you are following our podcast so that when season 3 drops, you are ready and waiting.
Absolutely. And it's worth, and I realise that we haven't said this all week, and we should have, but if you want to see what's going on, or like, see some of the stuff from conference, if you go into our Instagram or our Facebook page and search for either hashtag vocal advancement or hashtag IVACON, IVACON, you can see all the videos and all the pictures that everybody's been posting all week.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't think of that sooner.
No, yeah. There'll be a lot.
Oh, there's hundreds.
There's a lot.
There's hundreds. Just from karaoke night, there's hundreds.
Yeah, that's the dangerous ones.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us on this whirlwind of a week up in the beautiful city of Edinburgh.
Bonnie, Scotland.
Bonnie, Scotland. Aye.
I've just kind of realised, it just clicked in my brain there when you started to say, I'm like, oh wait, it really is over now.
It's really over,
I know,
I'm afraid.
this was the last thing we had to do for conference.
This is the last thing, our final task. Other than packing everything into the car, which we will now be swiftly doing.
But thankfully, I have 2 boxes to take home instead of 20.
Rather than the 20, yes, exactly.
I'm very pleased about that.
Yes.
But not so pleased that we're finishing.
No. But,
It has to finish sometime.
all good things come to an end.
And now we can start planning the next one.
Exactly.
Yay!
And we'll see you there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Thank you so much.
Take care and we'll speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.